What's up, team? Justin, the WOD nutritionist here. Here at CBG, we help you lose body fat, build muscle, and crush your WODs without tracking macros. All right, today's topic is post-workout carbs. I'm gonna put together a ranking system from the following. S, which is superior, godlike when it comes to post-workout carbohydrates. Next will be category A, which is this is a really great post-workout carb. I recommend it. B is gonna be, hey, this is pretty good. Maybe have it some of the time. C is going to be, this is pretty good. I would pretty much avoid this at all costs. D is going to be not good. Do not eat this as a post-workout carb ever. And F is going to be, don't even buy this because it's going to be total trash. Just kidding. You could probably eat it. You just don't want to incorporate it as a post-workout carb if it's in the F column. S all the way down to F, godlike all the way down to never consume this post-workout ever, ever, ever. Let's start with our first food, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are a really great source of carbohydrates, which are very important post-workout. However, sweet potatoes do have a good bit of fiber and they do keep us really satiated, which if your goal is fat loss is great, but might not be great if you're trying to pack in calories post-workout to recover and fuel for your next WOD. So sweet potatoes, really good. There's also a lot of other health benefits to sweet potatoes. So I'm gonna put sweet potatoes in the B column. Really great choice, can definitely have it a lot of the time. Sweet potatoes also taste good. It helps with a lot of those sugar cravings, which is not a real thing, but it does help if you're one of those people that likes a sweet treat, and it's a whole food. It's a whole food that tastes a little bit sweeter than some other foods out there. All right, so sweet potatoes in the B column. Next, white rice. Now, white rice is a carbohydrate primarily, very low fiber, which is good thing for your post-workout meal, and it digests very quickly. The glycemic index of white rice is very high, and so therefore for white rice, I'm gonna put in the A column. Hooray. Really good source of post-workout carbohydrates. I do recommend incorporating this if you like white rice for after your WODs, so that you can recover glycogen storage and actually feel good and feel fueled for the next workout. Next is brown rice. Now, not that different from white rice, but there are a few minor differences. It is mostly a carbohydrate, which is good. We need carbohydrates post-workout, probably the most important macronutrient if we're talking post-workout, so that's good. However, brown rice digests slower than white rice. It has a little bit more fiber in it than white rice when it comes to the per gram basis. And so because of that, brown rice is still a great carbohydrate. It's still great to incorporate post-workout, but I'm gonna actually put this in the C column. Not bad, but it's not gonna be as good as maybe those sweet potatoes or as good as white rice. All right, so keep this in mind when making your selections as to what rice you might incorporate post-workout. Next, oatmeal. Oatmeal is also a great source of carbohydrate. Really good. I think that that's probably the only good thing about it when it comes to post-workout, because very much like brown rice, it does have fiber in it. It's a really great source of fiber actually, and fiber slows down digestion. Now, when we're thinking post-workout, we just hit this hard workout. We crushed our WOD or this PR or all the strength training. We want to get nutrients into the bloodstream and to the muscle tissue that we just utilized for repair and recovery as quickly as possible. Carbohydrates actually are great because they replenish glycogen, and glycogen is carbohydrate stored in the muscle. Protein and carbohydrate combined is amazing. That's what we really want. But we're talking about post-carbohydrates today. We'll talk about protein another time. So for this oatmeal with the fiber, I'm also going to put it in the C column. I know you guys love oatmeal, but I'm going to put it exactly where I put brown rice, in the C column. Oatmeal is a great breakfast. You can have it pre-workout even, it's good, and throughout your day or away from your workout window, but I don't like it for right away post-workout. Next is going to be bananas. Now, this is interesting. Fruit, primarily comprised of fructose, being the sugar or active carbohydrate, is not the best source of carbohydrate for our post-workout meal. Ideally, we want glucose, sucrose, something that actually fuels back to working muscle tissue. Fructose is actually mainly digested and it goes through the liver, basically. So fructose is stored in the liver, and so you have to actually basically get enough fructose in your body through a banana, for example, or other fruit. You're gonna have to get enough fructose to completely saturate the liver, and then it can go to working muscle tissue after. So a little bit of fruit is good because you do need to make sure that your liver is covered, good to go. And bananas are a good source of that, so that's great. Now, the good thing about bananas is they also have a lot of potassium. That's also good. Electrolytes, especially for athletes, especially when we do longer wads, are going away in our sweat. And so if they're going away in our sweat and we're sweating out these electrolytes, we need to replenish these electrolytes. If you have a banana or two, you're actually replenishing the carbohydrates and you're also replenishing the potassium, which is a good thing. Now, fiber. Of course, fruit has some fiber. All fruits do, but bananas, it's fairly low to moderate. All right. So because of all these things combined, I love bananas. We're going to put bananas in the A column. Very good. Amazing. So we got some A, we got some B, we got some C, we got some different stuff. No S yet. Superior, godlike post-workout carbohydrate, but I promise we are getting there. Next is going to be peanut butter and jelly. Very interesting one. White bread, phenomenal. We get the carbohydrates in there, very quick digesting. Then we have the jam, which is pretty good. Very fast digesting. Jam is basically straight sugar, and our body needs that for optimal recovery. So that's great. I love that. But the peanut butter, that's where the problem comes in. Now, peanut butter is and has some carbohydrates in it. It also has some protein, which is good, but unfortunately, it has a good bit of fat in it. And primarily, I would consider peanut butter, if we had to pick one category of all the macros, a fat. Fat actually slows the digestion of a lot of stuff, even the other things like the bread and the jelly. So if peanut butter is slowing this stuff down, it's not really acting as a good post-workout carbohydrate. What I would say is skip the peanut butter, put the jam on the white bread, go for that. That would be an A+, but peanut butter and jelly, I'm putting in the D column. I would actually avoid this completely as a post-workout carb. All right, next is rice cakes. Rice cakes are great. They pretty much the same as white rice, I would say. So this one's an easy one, low fiber, easily able to digest it. I'm putting this in the A column with white rice. Next, vegetables. I think I lumped this into one category, and I didn't give a bunch of different types of vegetables, and there's a reason why. Vegetables have fiber, not good for your post-workout. They are carbohydrates, so that's good. But the problem is net carbohydrates are really low, so you're not even really getting that many carbohydrates. So what I recommend is vegetables to actually be incorporated in your day, and lots of them, but not post-workout. So I'm actually gonna put vegetables in the F column. Fail. If you're having vegetables post-workout, quit doing this immediately. It's not really benefiting you. So vegetables are going in the F column. Next is eggs. Okay, eggs are not a great source of carbohydrate, so that's not good. Eggs do have a good bit of protein, which I love. I think that's great. Protein is needed post-workout. And eggs also have a good bit of fat. The yolks primarily composed and have a good bit of fat in them, saturated fat. So honestly, eggs are a good food to incorporate in your life. I eat eggs every day, but they're not the greatest post-workout meal or carbohydrate. In fact, they have very little carbohydrate. So I'm actually gonna put eggs in the D column. Not good, don't have this post-workout. So eggs in the D column. Next is raspberries. Raspberries are good. Obviously it's a fruit, so the primary sugar is fructose, which stores in the liver, not in working muscle tissue, so that's not optimal. And additionally, raspberries are pretty high in fiber. So I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna put this in the C column. I think that's where it belongs. High fiber fruits are not good for post-workout. They do have the fructose and some carbs, but not ideal. I'm gonna put raspberries in the C column. Next, gummy bears or gummy worms. I like gummy bears and gummy worms in the right setting as a post-workout carbohydrate. The reason is because they're literally packed with carbohydrates. And as you eat 5 of them, you're already at like 30 grams of carbohydrates. It's insane. Same thing with gummy worms. So that is great. You know what? I'm gonna put it in between S and A. That's where I'm gonna put it, because I'm not gonna put it in the S column because they have better things. I'm not gonna put it in the A column because it's better than white rice and bananas, but I can't put it in the S. So that's where we're gonna put it, between the S and the A. If you've been having gummy worms and gummy bears for your post-workout, you've been doing good. Awesome job. Next, pears. This is kind of a tricky one. Pears, fructose again, it's a fruit, but also very high fiber. All right, now the key is the fiber is usually usually in the skin of the pear. Pears are actually a B without the skin and a C with the skin. And while we're on that topic, same thing for apples. Apples, a B without the skin, a C with the skin. So that's where all the fiber is. So keep that in mind for those two fruits. Also fructose, not the best, but it does help and is a decent post-workout carbohydrate. So if you want to move the skin, great. It's probably decent. If not, I'd probably leave it alone. You have better options. Next is pineapple. Pineapple is awesome. Everybody loves pineapple. If you hate pineapple, you got something wrong with you. For pineapple, what's interesting is pineapple is a low fiber fruit, very much like bananas, which is a great thing. We can incorporate pineapple as a post-workout carb, and I would actually put this in the same category as banana in the A column. Have it sliced up, ready to go post-workout. Get after that pineapple, a great post-workout carb. Next, avocados. Avocados are technically a fruit. They have a seed in them, one seed, and they do have some carbs. Issue with it is avocados are mostly fat, and being mostly fat means it's not really going to give us the carb amounts we need to replenish things the way I think we should, even with the carbs. So I'm actually going to put avocados in the F column. I had eggs in the D column because it has some protein in it, very little carbs. This has very little carbs. It's mostly fat. So I'm going to put it in the F column. I wouldn't be eating avocados post-workout, to be honest. So there you go. Next is Uncrustables. Delicious. Uncrustables, amazing post-workout carb. Absolutely phenomenal. We use it with a lot of our athletes. They have different flavors. It's basically packed with carbohydrates. It's good. And they're little and they're easy to eat, which I also love post-workout. I would put this in the same exact category as I did the gummy bears and gummy worms, in between the S and A column. I think that that's fair. They are loaded with, carbohydrates, densely packed, ready to go, taste amazing. I'm going to give it between the S and the A tier. Next, Snickers. This is interesting. Snickers do have a lot of carbohydrates, chocolate, awesome, but Snickers also have peanuts and peanut butter. So the fats in there slow the digestion down of the carbohydrates. So this is actually a tough one, but good number of calories and also good carbs. I'm going to put this in the C column. I mean, if you're in a pinch and you got a Snickers bar, eat it, go for it. But I wouldn't use this as an optimal post-workout carb, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of where I'm at. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't have this like stashed at the gym as your post-workout carb, basically. So that's Snickers. Next is Greek yogurt. And here it's indicating not fat-free. So there's fat in the yogurt. So same thing, fat. We don't want fat post-workout. We want fat away from the workout window, especially post-workout. So I'm actually going to give Greek yogurt a D. I mean, there's a little bit of carbs in there, not much. There's some protein, that's good, but I'm actually going to give it a D. I think it doesn't make sense, and that's where I'm at with it. I'm going to give it a D. White potatoes. So white potatoes are interesting. We went over sweet potatoes earlier. White potatoes they do have fiber in them, and they are super filling. I'm actually going to put them in the B column. The thing with white potatoes is it's the most satiating food ever. So for fat loss, eat potatoes. I mean, phenomenal for weight loss, right? Because you're going to feel fuller longer, but post-workout, they're better options. So that's why I'm giving white potatoes a B. I'm actually going to put it in the same category as sweet potatoes in this case. Next, coconut water. You guys ready? In the S column, coconut water is an amazing post-workout carb. It has a good number of carbohydrates in it. It has electrolytes in it. That's what's been missing. So earlier we talked about the banana having potassium. Excellent. But coconut water has a load of electrolytes, sodium, potassium, everything we need to replenish post-workout that we lost in our sweat, and the glycogen storage that we need for our muscles to recover optimally. And so I'm going with coconut water in the godlike superior column. Incorporate coconut water. You will start feeling amazing post-workout and recover quicker. First S tier, love it. Next, Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts are very similar to me as the Uncrustables. They're just not, you don't have to keep them cold. Jelly in them. They're loaded with carbohydrates, which is great. So I'm actually going to put them in between the A and S column. I think that's where we've been putting those, and that actually is really good. Incorporate the Pop-Tarts. I think they're a great source of post-workout carb. Next is quinoa. Quinoa has a lot of fiber. I know this, it has a lot of fiber. I'm actually going to put it in a D column. I'm not like a big quinoa fan. I don't know. I used to eat it a lot, and then I kind of stopped eating it, and I just don't, maybe I'm being a little bit subjective here. but I'm gonna put it in a D column. It has too much fiber in it as a post-workout carb. I would just avoid it personally, and I would recommend you guys kind of do the same. Next is dates. All right, so dates are actually really interesting because dates are a fruit, so loaded with fructose. Not the optimal carb, but not bad. They're loaded with fiber. All right, so they have a good amount of fiber in them. Not crazy, but pretty good amounts of fiber. But dates also have a good bit of potassium. Potassium, very similar to bananas. They actually have more, like in weight per banana, more potassium. So that's actually a good thing. So I'm actually gonna put the dates in the B column. They're loaded with, like, one date is like 10 grams of carbs. Amazing post-workout carb, especially if you're someone that doesn't want to drink the Gatorade and the sugary stuff or the Sour Patch stuff. It's like a great way to go. So I'm actually gonna put it in the B column. If you like dates, I say go for it. Great amounts of potassium, love it. Next is Sour Patch Kids. So this I put on here because a lot of our athletes love Sour Patch Kids. They freaking love them. They're like the gummy bears and gummy worms. They just eat it all up. So I'm actually gonna put the Sour Patch Kids in the A column. Really good source of carbohydrates, really easy. I love it. I think it's a great post-workout carb. Get after it, good stuff. Next, Gatorade. Man, we have our athletes drinking a crap ton of Gatorade during competition, all throughout, pre-workout, post-workout, everything. Reason being, sodium and plenty of carbs. And it's a liquid, which digests even quicker. So I'm actually putting this in the S column, superior. Gatorade is an amazing source of carbohydrate and electrolytes. It's going up there with the coconut water. Phenomenal post-workout carbohydrate. Get this in, incorporate this post-workout if you want to feel better for your workouts and recover better. Next is grapes. Grapes are amazing. I love grapes. I don't know if you guys ever had these, but those cotton candy grapes, dude, insane. Low fiber, that's a good thing. So I'm actually gonna put these in the A column. I think grapes, are great. They're small, easy. You can eat 20 of them. Get in the post-workout carbs you need. That's amazing. Go for it. I would put grapes in the A column. Great post-workout carbohydrate. Last, black beans. Oh, actually, that's not last. We have 4 more. Okay, awesome. Black beans. All right. Black beans have protein, they have carbohydrates. Black beans have a lot of fiber. So I'm actually gonna put black beans in the C column. Just not ideal, so that's where they're going. It is what it is. So in the C column it goes. Next is honey. Honey is an amazing post-workout carbohydrate. Has a lot of carbs in it and densely packed, almost very close to that of a liquid. It's like in between a liquid and a solid. I'm gonna put this in between the A and S tier. Really great source of carbohydrates. Love it for athletes. Go for it. Get after it. Put honey in your post-workout protein shake. Delicious. I'm gonna put this in between the A and the S column. Next is Cliff Blocks. Cliff Blocks are absolutely phenomenal. We incorporate these intra-workout as well, which I love. They're packed with sodium, they're packed with electrolytes, and they're packed with carbohydrates. I'm actually gonna put this in the S column. These Cliff Blocks are amazing. If you haven't tried them yet, do it. We use them for our marathon runners, for our long distance, our high roxers, long metcons, Murph. Cliff Blocks are awesome, and incorporate them post-workout. They have plenty of sodium, they have plenty of electrolytes, and they have plenty of carbohydrates. I'm putting this in the S column with the other liquids like Gatorade and coconut water. Utilize this. Really, really good. Next is maple syrup. Now, maple syrup, I mean, it's so close to honey. I feel like I have to put it in the A to S column, like in between. It's such a great post-workout carb, and it can be incorporated on so many things. Like you could put it on bread, you can put it in your post-workout protein shake if you want. Super easy, adaptable, just use it. Amazing option for post-workout carb. Get after it. Maple syrup, not the low calorie, low sugar maple syrup. Like that's not gonna do it. Actual maple syrup. Last, the good old bagel. Bagels are densely packed with carbohydrates. Love it. Now, it's gonna depend on the bagel. It's a whole wheat bagel versus a white bagel, white breaded bagel. And so therefore, I'm actually gonna put bagels in the B column. If it's a white bagel, it's gonna be higher. If it's a, slower digesting, it's gonna be lower. So I'm gonna settle for the B column here for the bagel. And, it is densely packed and a great source of post-workout carb. And if you have bagels and you love them, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. But that's what I would say for bagels. So that's it. That is a lot of post-workout carbohydrates. I tried to cover every single one possible. So you can make, Skittles. It's going to be similar to the other candies I mentioned, right? Things like that. But I would say if there's one that I missed, go ahead and put it in the comments below. I'll rank it from S all the way down to F. Give you my thoughts on why this is a great post-workout carb or a bad post-workout carb. Drop a comment below and I'll tell you. Sorry if I missed it, but here we are. So I tried to cover everything possible. Guys, if you want to lose body fat, if you want to build muscle, if you want to crush your wads, if you've been struggling with this for months, or even years, and you're tired of not looking like you do 4 to 5 watts per week, there is a link below for you to apply for coaching with me or one of my 10 full-time coaches. Go ahead, click that link below. We can schedule a call together. We'll get after it. We'll talk about your goals. We'll see if it's a good fit, and we'll go from there. We're coming in on the new year. Don't be late to the party. I will see you guys on the next one. I hope you enjoyed talking about post-workout carbohydrates, and I think YouTube wants you to watch this video next. See you soon.